Welcome into Paydirt Sports, part of the Six Pack Coverage Network. Will Dundon, Nick Truschel, Seth Coggin in here for you. So much to talk about. So I can't even begin to explain it, but we're going to start talking about it. So much ball, so much football, so many coaching searches, coaching carousels, coaching dramas, coaches getting arrested. I think we'll jump
all over the
into
place.
Truschel requested that we get this out of the way early.
Let's
not
get it
spend
over
too
with.
much time on it. Everyone saw it for the most part, or you heard about it. Vols take a giant L to, in my opinion, the worst two people on planet Earth to take a loss to in Shane Beamer and Spencer Rattler. And Seth said it before the show. We could really get exposed if anyone wanted to go back on the tapes. Really, like any week, you could probably pick out a time where we were roasting Shane Beamer and or Spencer Rattler, but especially at the beginning of the season. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. No defense was played. Like, people were talking about how good Spencer Rattler played. And yeah, he threw a bunch of good balls, but also the receivers were wide open every time.
Like I hadn't seen anything like that before. And there was all these rumors of flying around about Jeremy Banks getting in a fight the night before and half the defense being divided on who was right and all this crap about NIL deals. And I'm pretty sure that was just a bunch of made up stuff from what it sounds like. Jeremy Banks was pretty quick to defend himself on that. But I mean, at first it was certainly believable with the way the team played. Like, that was one of the worst defensive performances I've ever seen in my life. How do you give up 63 points to South Carolina, a team that just put up 6 on Florida and was one of, like, in the bottom 20% of offense in the whole country in terms of production throughout the year? So, I mean, we were talking about it in a group earlier in this, like, text group that I'm in. I honestly don't know if before the season started and you said you'll go 10-2, but you will have a horrific 28-point loss to South Carolina to get knocked out of the playoffs at the end of the year. I honestly wouldn't have taken that. I would have rather just had a normal 8-win season. Then this happened? Are you kidding me?
You can't just erase the fact that Bama happened. Like, I know that right now it's tough and it's brutal, but like, you can never not have that Bama win. Like, for that night, even still, like, that's an epic moment in time that, you would not trade. I promise you would not trade that for a win over South Carolina.
No, but and let's not discount Florida either. Like, I know Florida's not good, but Florida is not a team you beat a lot. You're telling me you're going to beat 2 out of the big 3 rivals
and LSU on the road?
Crush LSU on the road.
Yeah, those are 3 massive wins. Like, you don't get as a program very often. And so I think you got to take, like,
this was our year, man. This was it. And it was
see, that's the thing. It's only year 2.
Well, but we're not going to have a guy like Hendon Hooker again for at least a minute.
You probably are. Joe. You literally have the number 1, like, quarterback recruit in the nation coming in.
Yeah, but he's not going to be a 5th year. He's not going to be a 5th-year senior that knows this.
Yeah, maybe not next year, but like, it doesn't mean you can't sustain. I mean, Heupel's already shown his ceiling, or not even his ceiling. Like, there's no reason to believe he can't get back there again. Maybe it's not next year, but why not 2 years from now? Like, when people are a little more developed and you have a whole Tennessee is up now. Man. Like, you'll get better transfers.
I don't want later.
I'm serious. Like, the portal will help Tennessee this year for sure.
Oh yeah.
Like, you're going to get some dogs in there too. Like, dude, people around the country saw, like, Tennessee rocking, like, being the place to be this year. So I don't think you can discount that, like, how much that perception, those optics do matter. Like, they've already put themselves on the national spotlight. Dude, you got to number 1 in the country. Who cares how short-lived? Like, it was sick to, like,
this is just showing me flashbacks of, like, the Dak Prescott Mississippi State team. They were number 1 at one point. Like,
yeah, and you're still
look
talking
at where they
about
ended
them.
up. Maybe
I know, but like, you're still talking about them, like, 8 years after the fact. So
yeah,
obviously
and the
they still
is,
left an
like,
impact.
Josh Heupel's not going anywhere either. Like, Dan Mullen was leaving.
Some people are saying he's gone for the NFL.
No, he's not gone for the NFL right now.
I don't know.
I don't think that's happening.
I don't know.
That'd be pretty insane if he left for the NFL. Like, good, like, that'd be crazy. But crazier things have happened. Coaching is, like, entering a wide open time right now where it feels like anyone can get any job. Like, I feel like UCO is truly way more. This guy's been in the program. He understands our fan. Like, He understands the situation, our fan base, all this kind of stuff. Even in the NFL, it's like this guy's been our defensive coordinator for 18 years. All right, now he's our head coach.
Yeah.
It's like it's not really like that anymore. So I mean, it never would surprise me. I mean, he's had a ton of success, runs an offense that's innovative. I was even looking at a quote today about, Andy Reid, thought of to be one of the most, just great offensive minds kind of the last 20 years, like truly innovative. And he was talking today is like, yeah, oftentimes the NFL is really behind college in terms of scheme wise and all this stuff. They're able to be a little more, explorative, innovative at the college level. And he said that even trickles up from high school, which kind of makes sense. It's like, there's just way more schools. You can try to do it a lot different ways. In the NFL, everything's kind of established. Like nothing is too exotic in the NFL, but teams, innovate and go crazy kind of in college. And so if you run a really successful system, well, who says it won't work kind of at the higher level? So I don't know. I wouldn't be afraid of him going to the NFL right now. And if he does, so what? Like, if a coach really does a move like that, it's like, so what? He elevated our program in 2 years, and now our hiring process looks a lot better than it did 2 years ago.
You're an attractive job
Yeah.
too at that point.
Yeah, exactly. If a coach leaves us for a better job, it's an attractive position. Not even a better job, just like jump into the NFL is like hard to contest with as a college program, because it's like, well, how can I can't be the NFL, like leaving for a better college job is one thing, but leaving to go to a different level is like, well, like he wanted to go to another level. I mean, like I can't, that is something I cannot offer as Tennessee. If he really wants to make that jump, so be it. We'll get another great guy in here. And you've seen the power that Tennessee has. And I think it's more sustainable. I think it'd be good to just sustain, have it throw in a 10-2 season, but never go as low as like 8-4. Like get back on that level first, and then we'll think about having better 11, 12 win playoff situations. But on the other hand, you don't get many opportunities like that to make the playoff. Like I don't want to totally downplay but we are going to 12 teams.
That's what I was about to say.
That's why I saw your eyes light up down there, Will. And I said, you know what? Yeah, we are about to go 12 team. So, and that's shoot. If it's a 12 team playoff this year, you're still riding the mix. So, just brutal to come at South Carolina, but this is college football, man. Like, crazy stuff does happen all the time. And to avoid that chaos, the whole first part of the year was awesome, but now just enjoy the sugar. Beat Vandy, first of all. Not gonna be a given with
Clark
your back.
Lee has those boys fired up.
Yeah, but I mean, you should still beat Vandy.
Yeah.
And party down in NOLA. Go to the Sugar Bowl and have a good time. And
dude, 11-2 Sugar Bowl victory.
That'd be awesome. Awesome.
I mean, you're one of the best Tennessee teams of all time if you do that.
Yeah,
seriously,
that's an epic season. And I think the South Carolina loss hurts, but shoot, go still make the best. You still are great in finish to the season ahead of you. But if you drop the game to Vandy, and then things it does kind of get a little uglier. But beat Vandy and win the bowl game and have a good 11-2 season and celebrate the heck out of it. Like it is what it is.
And ride the momentum.
Yeah,
like Joe Milton is good, and we're gonna find out this upcoming
week. He's good off the
see,
bench. I mean,
just to see how he does in a full game. I'll be interested to see that. But every time he comes in, everyone was worried about his accuracy issues, and that's not as much of a problem, at least in garbage time. So we'll see what he looks like in a full on game.
Does he still have another year?
Yeah. He'll get 1 year.
So nice. Joe, if he's the truth, then we got our 6-year senior QB starter to win a natty right there.
That's what I'm saying. You already have the guy with a rocket arm, 6-year senior. Like maybe he's kind of figured it out at this point. The offense obviously works. So, put a lot of good players around him and let's let him sling it.
Joe Milton revenge tour, Heisman run.
That would be awesome.
We were just a couple of years ahead on the Joe Milton Heisman hype. We were 2 years ahead. It was the 2023. Dude, if he wins the Heisman in 2023, he will have been around for so long. Like that would just be wild. I remember Joe Milton so long ago throwing bombs at Michigan and being like, wow, that's awesome. He's just been slinging it this whole time.
Been around for a minute. But I've had enough of Tennessee. I don't really. It is what it is. You guys have turned my hopes up a little bit more, but still, that's a stinger for sure.
It's gonna be a fun Sugar Bowl, and you're like, it will be like, all right, this was awesome. We're gonna, be a high profile bowl game. And yeah, and it's even best case scenario too, because you're like, well, if it was a 12-team playoff, we were in.
That's what
You
I'm
can
saying.
You can
too.
already
Like,
play that
you're-
card. It's like you're already on that. That already exists in people's minds, a 12-team playoff. So you can be like, look, in a few years, we're already on that level. Like if we have this season 2 years from now, we're in the playoff.
program
true.
building year.
Program
You look
building
like
year.
you're gonna be a top 15 team for some years to come, and that's just about all you got to be going
Yeah.
forward.
Put yourself a good year. Florida had a really down year. And I think Tennessee really said they still didn't get it. Georgia's still kind of top dog for the moment.
Yeah.
Tennessee's nipping at the heels, That's
I just
not a
wanted
bad place.
another shot at them so bad too.
Yeah. That would have been nice. But Tennessee kind of fell victim to what a lot of people do. That's a little bit of scoreboard watching. Like, all throughout the morning, all throughout the afternoon. They're kind of worried about some other games going on.
Yeah.
And then both of those games end in a Michigan win and a TCU like last second wins. And when in reality, if they had just taken care of themselves, they probably were getting in. But they couldn't do it. So tough.
Yeah, it was
Spencer
tough. and
Rattler
it
did
is
go.
one of those
Spencer
games.
Rattler found magic. I don't know what happened. South Carolina bottled it up and they really brought it this game. They just exploded.
Yeah, he had the best game of his life.
So statistically like improbable.
Yeah. I mean, less than
for that happened.
0.3% chance. I mean, 6 touchdowns from Spencer Rattler. How often does that happen? Never.
Never.
And then he then called it one of the best wins in college football history.
Oh, well, that may be going a little too far.
I mean, it was in the top 3
only
all
because your
time.
team was garbage, Spencer Rattler.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, maybe it's one of the top. It's a pretty big upset or like shocker, but only because your team stinks. Like, because no one expected you guys to win at all.
South Carolina's garbage. It was one of the my dad was telling me this stat. It's top 3 all time for biggest difference in terms of a win margin in the spread. So they were plus 22 and winning by 25, 28, whatever it was. It was, I think, number 3 all time, the largest.
They were
difference.
plus 20. They were 3 touchdown dogs.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my gosh, that's brutal.
That's what makes it so crazy that you lose by almost 30 to a 3 touchdown underdog. Like that's
well, Arkansas's 2 touchdown victory over South Carolina is looking a little better to me right now.
Speaking
The
of,
season's going pretty good.
there was another blowout in the SEC on the other side in the West Division.
On the Western Hemisphere.
Seth, I'll let
Yeah.
you take it away.
That was present as the Arkansas Razorbacks firmly established themselves to be the superior program. That was a program setting night. Kind of, it's like, okay, back to reality, Ole Miss. You just got dubbed up big time in Arkansas. You don't come to our house and expect to win. At one point, early in the third quarter, Arkansas was up 42-6 after 1 minute so there was still 30 minutes to play and we were up 42-6. It was all intents and purposes a trouncing. But to be honest, all the factors really added up. Ole Miss actually ended up with 200 yards of offense more than Arkansas. Now, so much of that was in garbage time because, it was 42-6 and I don't think we threw more than like 2 more passes the rest of the game, really. And it was a little frustrating for all the people in attendance because I stayed and it was freezing cold. Tough factors for Ole Miss. We talked about the recipe last week for Arkansas to beat LSU was there. It was all there besides KJ. And you saw how much a really good quarterback play just totally changes the team. Like a good teams are all around. And then you put a stud quarterback out there and you got that advantage over somebody and you're going to win a lot of those games because Arkansas and Ole Miss probably really similar talent wise, across the board, pretty similar. Like both got stud running backs, have some deficiencies probably on defense a little bit. But I think we had the biggest advantage was at quarterback and KJ was healthy this week and we needed it. And it just, it brings a little hope and joy into kind of a frustrating season for Razorback fans. Feel like the team was a little bit better than they record's going to show in the end. Lost some early games to teams they really shouldn't have. But hey, go out and get a top 15 win. I think the Lane coaching situation, which we might hop into a little bit right after this, I think that definitely affected the players. They just didn't have much pop out there to start the game, and Arkansas wanted it more. And that shows in the rushing stats and everything like that. They wanted that win more on a cold night in Fayetteville when you don't know if your coach is going to be there next week. The Hogs just came to play, and it was a lot of fun. It was super cold, good crowd, lit. It was our first SEC home night game in since 2019.
Oh, dang.
No, the last time we had an SEC home night game, you guys were there in Fayetteville.
Oh yeah, COVID year.
Tennessee was the last
Tennessee.
one in 2020.
What a weird energy that was. Not around Arkansas, but I just mean as a Tennessee fan, like the energy around the team at that point was so weird. I feel like we were playing, I think Bailey and Maurer both played that game.
Yeah, they had no plan.
Yeah. Yeah, they had no plan. That's a very good way to put it. What's Arkansas's record now?
We are now 6-5, heading to Missouri to end the season.
Okay.
So hey, go 7-5, get a pretty decent bowl because they're still a pretty good team. They'll get a good draw. Go
Win your bowl
7-5.
game and go 8-5.
Hey, that's not bad. Follow up 9-4 with 8-5. I mean, it's not necessarily up, but you're still kind of up. Like we said, I mean, this was a disappointing year, and we could still go 8-5. It's okay, not the end of the world. Still had a few fun wins. Had a really hard schedule. Just maybe next year throw a couple cupcakes on the roster. And let's get those dubs out of the way. The A&M loss in hindsight is the most frustrating, I think, because if we win that one, things may turn out differently just because you keep the momentum going. And just a brutal loss. And seeing them at this point is how did we ever lose to them? But you got to remember, I mean, teams do this every year. It's at the beginning of the year, they're still ranked they were ranked in the top 20 when we played them. The perception, even from inside the program, is we're a good team. Now they know they're a bad team, and it's easy. It's just different. So just wish you could have a few back, but still a fun season. We're going to line them up next year and get ready to go. There may be some changes. I was a little, as many fans can get in irrational losses, once I got a little heated. And I'm still not against a coaching change, but I'm not inside the program. I think I gotta trust the pit boss to know.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're
what's
talking
truly best.
You're talking coordinator wise, just to clarify.
Yes, I'm talking coordinator wise. I was a little tough on the coordinators, and sometimes deservedly so. I mean, people should criticizing people. I don't think is the worst thing in the world. I mean, they are. Hey, we talk about the man in the arena. The coordinators are literally the man. You're out there making a lot of money to coach a football team. I'm going to critique how it's coached. But yeah, I think at the head boss, we're in good shape. I mean, I think pit boss, we got to keep him around as long, if he wants to be there and he's still winning a majority, if we go 500 in the SEC, that's pretty good. It's not great. It's not where we want to be, but we spent some years in the dumps. It's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. And competitive in more games too. That's the thing too. It's going to be a year where you go 7-5, but you've lost 3 games by a total of 7 points. And it's a few different bounces, and this season looks a lot better. That he built a good enough team. Now we just got to get a few more breaks. But anyway, fun to beat Ole Miss. Awesome night game. Super cold, gritty till the end. Stayed. Just got to celebrate the win. People do not like Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin in Arkansas. Ole Miss and Arkansas is an underrated, low-key rivalry of actual distaste for each other. Whether it's because of baseball, it happens in baseball a lot too, because those are 2 really solid programs. So that actually is an underrated SEC rivalry that I think is really exciting. And they always seem to play crazy games. This one wasn't really close, but Hogs, big dubs only, man. Feels good to win some. And the basketball team's rolling now, so everything's great.
I do want to talk a little bit about, before we get into the coaching carousel, just a little playoff picture. Honestly, now that TCU isn't what's stopping the Vols from getting in the playoff. Not that they
Riding the Horned
necessarily would have.
Frogs.
I'm all in on the
All
Horned
in.
Frogs. Also, just in all respect to the Horned Frogs for the fact that they just keep winning close games. The fire drill at the end of the game for the field, and just
Crazy.
never a doubt, like just drilling the
cashing
field
it.
goal.
Cashing it.
He didn't even like line up to the ball. Did you notice? That's what I noticed too. He didn't like step and take his steps. He just went up there and kicked it, like totally cold. Man, TCU, I'm all for him. Go Horned Frogs.
They do. They have something special. That's what's fun about football. Sometimes the team just has a little special factor. They just find, like, I don't think they're the best team in the country, but you know what? They win games, and there's something to be said about like doing that
There's something to
consistently
be said
week
about
after
winning
week.
that many close.
Yeah,
games.
winning that many close games. That means you're good. You're putting to be a good team, you put yourself in position to win, and they do a really great job of that. And then they finish. Like, they not only put themselves in position to win, they are clutch and
actually
they
do
finish. I'm big. Yeah, I was kind of I like that you said that. Like, now that Tennessee isn't really in the picture, I am all Horned Frog. Like, let's go, sign me up, because I do not want to see too big. I do not want to see Ohio State and Michigan in the playoff.
That would be horrible.
That
That's
is
just
so
dumb.
lame. That
You
is so
play each
lame.
other, and then it's like you're back. Which, I mean, I guess you could make the argument like Tennessee and Georgia were potentially kind of doing that.
Yeah, but they had other like hard games, and like, not saying that some of those games aren't hard. It's impressive to go undefeated, but it's like it shouldn't be rewarded for never even winning a game that you're not more than their smallest spreads of the year were 2 touchdowns. Like, oh, congrats! Like, you never lost a game. You were 2 touchdown favorite. Like, it's not. It's just, and then okay, you play one good team, so you're telling me you have 0 good, great wins and you have 1 loss? Like, you should at least to make the playoff, you should at least have to have 1 great win where it's like a top 10 team on the road or a top 5 team at home, something like that, where it's like, okay, we went head to head against someone legit and we won, and not just one game that actually mattered and you lose and you still make the playoff. That's stupid. If it was 12 team, I get it. Yeah, they're still in. But
that's the thing. I mean, dude, once we get to this 12-team playoff, really, anyone who deserves to get in is going to get in.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because if you're 13, it's like, okay,
Dude.
I mean, you're probably not winning the Natty. So,
Yeah.
like, even if you think you should be 12, like, okay, it's not that big of a deal,
Yeah.
I don't know. I go back and forth on the 12-team playoff all the time because it does, like, this whole Tennessee South Carolina game essentially like wouldn't matter. And if you're a Tennessee fan, you're like, oh, cool. But really, that's like not a good thing for college football.
It does matter because it probably would kick Tennessee from like having a host, like hosting a playoff game in Neyland versus, going on the road to Michigan as their first. Like, it does matter quite a bit. I get what you're saying. It doesn't matter in terms of making the playoff, but it still would matter.
You're right, because someone else mentioned that and I didn't think about it. It's going to be different when you have, the fact that you can have some home games. Like if you have, say,
or a bye, like getting a bye is still a big deal.
Getting a bye is huge, but I just mean the fact that you could have some like SEC team having to go play up in Michigan.
That'd be awesome. I mean,
it changes things a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
The home games really make it for me in terms of why I would like to see the 12-team playoff.
That's fair.
I think that first round of games, campuses, is going to be really electric. I don't think people are fully. I mean, I think they're thinking about it, but I think that's going to be so electric, like that people are like, how big that would be in Knoxville, a playoff game at home, like in Fayetteville. That is a shutdown. And that's doable. I mean, like, you're almost right there this season. Like, we would be hosting a playoff game. Like, okay, that's legit. You don't have to be the number 1 team in the country to host a playoff. Like, you don't have to be.
You got to be like top 6 or
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah. So I just think it provides a lot of cool opportunities, and people want to say, it devalues like regular season games, and that is like true to a point. But the reason college football matters is because it's us against them. The Arkansas Ole Miss game didn't matter 1 iota in the national picture. It didn't matter for the SEC championship. It didn't matter for, the playoffs, certainly. It didn't matter for nothing, but it mattered to so many people because it's Ole Miss. Like the Razorbacks are lining up against Ole Miss. So we are going to battle. Like that's why it matters. Though that won't change. Like, yeah, it might change like a little bit of how much a loss hurts because, oh, well, now I can't, like, we're still might go to the playoffs. So keep more hope alive. Like, I think, like, what's wrong with that? I think it's awesome. So I think after a long time, I am pro expanded playoff. I do understand some of the drawbacks, but I think the positives outweigh that in my perspective. And I say that as a team who has a lot better hopes of making a 12 team than a 4 team, just realistically. Like I could see us having you just got to have a good year. 10-2 gets you in 10-2 in the SEC and you're in the 12 team playoff. Pretty much exclusively. Probably. Unless you play 4 cupcakes and, I don't know, you somehow avoid all the good, I don't know. There's like, I guess there's different levels of 10-2, but anyway, it'll be fun to, the playoff is fun. I mean, playoff football is sick.
Truja, what's the playoff picture looking like right now? Like
well, right now it's got to be Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU. And then USC is knocking on the door at 5, LSU at
Did they win?
Yes,
they
USC did win.
They beat UCLA. I didn't get to
48-45, I do believe.
Dang.
So it was a pretty crazy game, but I mean, I think USC honestly has a decent shot at getting in. They still need TCU to lose, but
I think if they win out, you have to put them in over the Michigan Ohio State.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. So, dang, that would be crazy for Lincoln Riley to get in his first year.
I'm not gonna lie, like USC being in the playoff would be kind of cool. And so many people will say they're gonna get crushed, and they very well might. But I really can stand here before y'all and say I have no idea what USC would look like against any of those teams.
Yeah. Mystery.
I truly don't know. I mean, I've watched a little bit of them, but yeah, like the Pac-12 is so just out of sight, out of mind, kind of, I feel like, for college football fans right now, for the most part. I mean, obviously, like, it's not irrelevant or anything because you do have some good teams out there, but Pac-12 bias, man, you just don't see it as much. So I'd be down to see that. I think that would be cool to see USC in the playoff. Who's right behind them? Anyone?
It's LSU.
We've got LSU, Clemson, Alabama, Tennessee, and then Oregon.
Wow. So Clemson really could get back in there. Like there's a legitimate.
If the right people lose, yeah.
I doubt it. They're not Clemson. See, I think that's the line who would not pass Ohio State or Michigan in my eyes. So I think like Ohio State, if LSU wins out, they could potentially get in. I think obviously, I mean, I think it's pretty much lined up. Like if USC wins out, I think they get in, just like I thought Tennessee would get in over whoever lost the Ohio State Michigan game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if LSU beats Georgia, they will get in over the one loss Michigan or Ohio State team with the SEC championship.
Would LSU?
But I don't think Clemson would. No, I don't think LSU would jump to number 2. I think they just get
Where
in.
would Georgia be?
I think it would be LSU 4, Georgia 3. Because I think they would separate
and then
those
Ohio
two
State,
teams.
TCU.
Yeah, Ohio State 1, TCU 2, or vice versa, or Michigan 1, TCU 2.
Yeah, because you wouldn't do a rematch. You wouldn't do a Georgia LSU rematch.
No, they
right
do.
Away.
They do like definitely do that for sure. In terms of how they seed 1 through 4. But I mean,
they don't want to, and it makes sense. Like it's ratings. I get it, and
it doesn't matter once you're in the
doesn't
playoff.
Matter.
It doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
So anyway, that would be my thought because I don't think Clemson, even if they went out, I would put Michigan or Ohio State over them, even with a loss. In my eyes.
Yeah,
so right
Clemson
now
hasn't looked right.
Yeah, right now you would say Georgia, Big Ten champ, USC is a Pac-12 champ, and TCU. If everything's just like played out.
If everything played out, if all the teams won out, I would put, yeah. Of course, they couldn't all technically win out because do you think LSU with 2-loss LSU with the SEC championship, do they jump USC?
They have to go, right? If they win the SEC,
I
That
don't
would be
know.
the thing.
like I don't think
Because that would be insane to put Georgia in and not LSU because are you going
Yeah.
to take out a 1-loss Georgia? Probably not. But and then
No,
how
you're
could
not.
you leave out LSU?
Because they
I think
lost 2 games.
I think USC would get left out.
I do too. Because I think you say, well, they lost to LSU or Florida, and Florida State turned out to be decent.
Yeah,
It was the
they're 8-3.
first game of the year. And I mean, they did get crushed by the Vols. That'd be the hardest one to honestly defend. And Tennessee losing probably doesn't even help them. Well, it does. I guess it does help them because if Tennessee didn't lose, they weren't jumping. They were never going to jump. That is the thing. They were never going to jump Tennessee because they literally had, at the end of the day, you have to say, okay, head to head, Tennessee beat them by 27 on their home turf. Like that has to count for something. Like, you know what I mean?
See, and that's where I struggle. And this is also why, well, I'm not going to say that, but
I don't think they're going to beat Georgia either.
I don't think they are. But like you saw Georgia beat Kentucky 16-6 this past week. Georgia's weird too. But I think in the SEC championship
too.
I think Georgia in the SEC championship game gets it together and probably kicks.
They're
LSU's
going to get
butt.
up for that one. So
LSU's not that good. Like that offense can be controlled pretty good, I think.
That's what I think too.
Like I watched Arkansas hold them to like under 200 total yards of offense, and our defense stinks. So, and they had it's not like they were missing their quarterback or anything. Like Jane Daniels played the whole game.
Yeah.
So I just think that Georgia will handle them pretty good. So anyway, the fun thing is we get to talk all these scenarios, and then like somehow the games are going to turn out, and it probably will make pretty good sense. Like it won't end up even being like that controversial, It'll be like,
Probably
oh
not.
yeah, that makes sense. Those are USC could definitely lose. TCU could definitely lose. LSU, like it may just work itself out to be super simple.
Who does LSU play last?
A&M.
Okay. So they should probably win.
They could lose. That'd
That'd be wild.
Dude, that was a bad scene. I hate. I'm certainly not trying to pour on the Aggies, but that was a bad scene there at Kyle Field this past weekend.
Yeah.
Bad scene. Bad scene. I don't care who you're playing. That's a bad scene. I don't care what the weather's doing. Not good look. That is unenthused fan base right there.
You can't call yourself the 12th man.
Nope.
I think you got to take it away.
You
got to take it away.
'em. Make them earn it.
12th man. Come on.
There was about 12 of them.
Yeah, exactly. That's what everyone was saying. The 12 men.
12 angry men.
Even somehow there was so little of them, and they still found a way to be weird. Sorry, no offense, David. The guys were running around shirts in the upper deck, like.
They're one of the cringiest fan bases in the country. I mean, I'll say it.
It's got to be the right.
Yeah,
it's got to be the.
Who
Who would you put? Okay, yeah, that's a good question. Who would you put in that category of like cringe fan base? I might even go like, I don't know. Clemson to me feels cringy.
Yeah,
Clemson is
That's
pretty
because
bad.
Dabo. I think Dabo makes that for me.
It's also like you took a school that like they're not supposed to, they don't have like a storied, like a long tradition. So it's like you don't have that culture there, like of a fan base, So yeah, it's kind of like you just threw a bunch of random people in and gave them like an awesome football team for a little bit.
Yeah, except they weren't even awesome. They thought they were awesome.
I mean, they did win a couple natties.
Oh, Clemson. Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about A&M.
No.
Oh, yeah, Clemson. That is a good analysis of Clemson.
Yeah,
because now you think you're entitled. Like it's like, nah, we still don't really think it. Like you were kind of hot there for a minute, and you did have a really good. Of course, I will say they still have not lost a home game in like forever.
Yeah,
that is crazy. That'd be fun to go into Death Valley and win. Clemson should play. That'd be awesome.
That would be a great game.
Who?
Clemson.
Tennessee and Clemson. The
Oh,
or- the
Who would you
That
want
would
to
be
play?
Orange Bowl.
Who would you want to play in the Sugar Bowl?
I don't know. What's the is there an affiliate?
I feel like the Big Ten sometimes, but Big 12 recently too.
Yeah, I
12,
think it's
yeah.
Big 12, SEC. I mean,
Dude, whoever came out of the Big 12, you guys would munch on.
I
it
think
might
so.
be Texas, right?
No, dude, Texas has 4 losses.
Texas is ranked though.
I think everyone in the Big 12 has a good amount of losses.
Yeah, they kind of beat each other up.
Like Kansas, is it Kansas State?
Yeah,
Probably
maybe
wouldn't-
Kansas State.
It may even end up being like, I have no idea.
Like Oklahoma State just lost again to like a 5-5 Oklahoma.
Ooh, yeah, not a good league.
Which way? Yeah, why
Maybe you go to the Big Ten. It'd probably play like Penn State. Honestly, I could see like Penn State in the Sugar Bowl because
Yeah.
they're probably going to finish what 10. I mean, they'll probably finish like 10-2.
Yeah, have they only lost to Ohio
Holy-
State,
Yeah, I think they've
Michigan?
only lost
Dude.
to Ohio State, Michigan.
So this, I'm looking at Bleacher Report, and they don't even project Tennessee to make a New Year's Six.
What do they project?
Not here. They have Michigan and Oregon in the Rose Bowl, Penn State and UCF in the Cotton Bowl, LSU and Kansas State in the Sugar Bowl, and then Clemson and Alabama in the Orange Bowl.
Ooh, Alabama making one, Tennessee not would be kind of hurtful.
Dude, wait, that's kind of messed up. Also, if LSU has 3 losses, they would still
I
make a
think
New
that's where
Year's
it's-
6.
Nah, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I think that is where that would be. Bowl projections don't really matter.
No.
If Tennessee finishes 10-2, yeah. If Tennessee finishes 10-2 and LSU finished 9-3, yeah, Tennessee's going over LSU. That's not even like up for debate. That's just like how it would work.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. I do have a wild Nebraska stat. So Huskers lost another 1 possession game. Shocker.
That is
Yep.
a lot.
That's what I'm going to tell you. So
No.
since Scott Frost was hired 4 or 5 years ago, sounds about right. The Huskers have had 25 losses by 1 possession or less. Well, no,
Holy, that's
That
like almost
is-
every loss.
25 in 5 years, I guess.
a lot.
So,
That's
5
big
a year.
majority.
Insane.
5 a year, man.
Well, I'm gonna spin it, put a real positive on it. Is not far off as a program. Like it's not like you need to you're just you need to get 1 score better.
There was something interesting that I mean, besides the fact that it was a close game and then the Huskers lost, Casey Thompson ran out for senior day, although he is only a junior. So
You got 'em.
safe to say that he will be.
Has anyone ever
gone.
run out for junior day and then for senior day and then come back?
Yeah, some guys. There was somebody on Tennessee, a couple of guys, because there was a big argument about
They were-
Hyatt and Joe Milton leaving, and they did senior day and or something like that. And people were saying it's been done before, where people will run for senior day and then just come back the next year. So it
Yeah,
doesn't
they're like
necessarily
thinking
mean
about
anything. Yeah. So it doesn't lock you into anything.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, I think it's pretty safe to say Casey Thompson won't be there next year. Unless somehow Mickey Joseph was hired as the head coach. I think that's really the only potential situation, because I don't think Casey, I think he's a good quarterback, but I don't think he showed enough that he's going to
He's-
get signed
nah,
or anything.
he's not gonna-
you know?
He may get signed. Nah, he probably won't. Yeah, he probably won't really have an NFL shot right now.
His thing is too, like, he's not that tall. Like, I think he's 6 foot flat and he looks kind of short out there. Like I don't know. No, I mean, not saying that you can't do that, but he'd have a tough time, I think.
His measurables aren't that good, and then his actual play like doesn't bring him up.
I think he really needs to be in college one more year. So I don't know if he's thinking about transferring again or if he's thinking about just trying to go to the league and seeing what happens. I don't know. I mean, I wish him all the best no matter what, because I thought he was pretty good and we would have been a lot worse without him. But anyway, I mean, lots of coaching rumors going around today specifically. I heard Urban's name. I heard Luke Fickell, Chris Kleiman at Kansas State, Leipold at Kansas. And then I heard Seth, I don't know if you were on yet, but someone did mention Mickey Joseph being named head coach and bringing his brother, Vance Joseph, to come be defensive coordinator, and bringing their good friend Eric Bieniemy to come be offensive coordinator.
Whoa, no way,
be
dude! No
insane.
way, Bieniemy's going.
They're buddies, man.
Yeah, maybe they did just say screw it. We're going to college, like.
And I will say this, yeah, if Mickey Joseph just said, yeah, I'm going to bring Vance Joseph and Eric Bieniemy, I'd be like, all right, cool, you can be head coach.
Yeah, that works pretty good. That is a thing that if you become a lot better head coach if you have that great of offensive and defensive coordinators. So yeah, if he brings in those guys, I would ride with Mickey for sure. But I hate to say it, I don't think that's happening.
I think Vance would definitely
see
come.
his brother
Eric
coming.
Bieniemy would come.
Bieniemy seems tough to me.
That would be crazy.
Bieniemy was like a flash in the pan rumor for head coach, though. That would also be interesting. What if you did make Bieniemy head coach, kept Mickey on staff, and then also brought Vance over? I don't know. This is all. I need him to announce it.
Bieniemy would be cool.
Yeah,
just to be honest, that'd be fun.
I think they're gonna announce it sometime this week. That's just what a lot of people are saying. So not that it necessarily means anything, but I don't know. I'm just ready for them to make an announcement so I can have some sort of hope moving forward. But then right before we got on this podcast, there was a report, and I don't know if it's true or not.
It seems to be even more smoke. It's smoking pretty heavily right now.
He's been tweeting while we've been podcasting as well. He's been firing back some stuff.
So Trusho, give the backstory. Let's talk about the original tweet that we all saw, then talk about what the coach responded with.
Yeah. So the original tweet, John Sokoloff, I want to say, of WCBI News in Starkville, Mississippi, reported Lane Kiffin would be stepping down tomorrow before the Egg Bowl and is being announced as the Auburn head coach, which would be insane. There has been kind of some smoke and stuff with Lane Kiffin's name around Auburn's program, but there seems to be some conflicting reports here, because Lane Kiffin right after that was tweeted a picture about the Egg Bowl, and then now 30 minutes ago just tweeted a picture, and I'll quote, "This just in, breaking news, John Sokoloff of WCBI News in Starkville, Mississippi plans to step down as lead anchor and head to WLOX to become their new lead anchor. Sources say WLOX hasn't offered the job to anyone yet, so John to WLOX is happening, story soon." So he basically created a parody tweet of what this guy reported about Kiffin. So if we believe Lane Kiffin and don't think he's a scumbag who would lie about this, he's not going to Auburn, but
he's definitely going to Auburn, right?
I think he's going, especially because this Starkville reporter that dropped this also dropped the news that Mississippi State's AD was stepping down to go to Auburn as well. So this guy clearly has some good sources.
That is a good point.
Program. So I don't know if it's something he'd just make up. Maybe the sources were off. We'll have to see tomorrow what the hell happens.
I also thought it was funny that right after I saw that tweet saying that he was stepping down, I saw the tweet about Lane Kiffin reading a book about the Egg Bowl, and all of these Ole Miss fans were like, you know what? I'm sick of it. I don't like it. Like just totally buying into the report already and being pissed, thinking that Lane was already roasting them like immediately.
Yeah, that would be a Lane Kiffin thing to do, though. Just start firing shots before the news is even confirmed. It's like all the joke.
I mean, no, but Seth, I agree with you. Well, I think we all agree. I think he's going.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, there was some debate on Twitter about this. What number do you think both of these programs are on the list of best jobs in America? What I was seeing around 12 to 15 for Auburn, and then 30 to 35 for Ole Miss.
That's pretty fair. I'd put Ole Miss like 28. I don't necessarily have a list, but Ole Miss is a good. I mean, it's in the SC West, so I mean, it's in a good spot there. But yeah, that's true. Ole Miss does. It
depends on how you look at
success. I'm even going recency bias, but you kind of got to count that a little bit. But they do not have much history of success at all.
Well, it depends.
Auburn is definitely considerably better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because Ole Miss does not have the fan support of even just the more popular SEC programs. Like I'm not even talking about better. Like, I mean, yeah, Tennessee is better than Ole Miss right now, but even before that, I would say Tennessee was a better job than Ole Miss. When Lane Kiffin is at Ole Miss and they're winning, it looks attractive. But if you're another coach, are you really wanting to go into the SEC West and play Bama and LSU every single year? You know, like, do you think you're
Yeah.
winning that division?
No.
No, I don't even have. Do I didn't bring up the stat? Never won an SEC West ever.
Yeah.
Ole Miss since its existence as a division, never won it.
Yeah.
So
That's
I mean, they've had
insane.
some good coach. I mean, they've had obviously. I mean, Hugh Freeze was a good coach. He never won it. Lane Kiffin had some good years. He never won it. So
Well, and you could even argue, I know we just bashed A&M for not having any fans at their game, but they do have, you know, a giant stadium that's filled up most of the time. If you're good at all, you know,
yeah,
it is one thing when you're just garbage in a year. Yeah, I get fans not showing up, but Ole Miss is pretty solid and has trouble filling up a 60,000 person stadium, you know?
yeah, that is not a very big stadium. I don't even like, and it is not very full very often.
No.
Which I mean is one thing, but yeah, that is true. The true like just the whole public education system in Mississippi, if we really want to go to like even higher levels of like Auburn as a school is just it's a better school. It's got everything's a little better funded. Like everything's
You can make more
this-
money at Auburn.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dude, Kiffin, I said he'd be the only one to have the balls to go follow Saban, but like going to Auburn right now is even almost more of a diabolical move. Like he is trying to end Saban. Like
That's all he
Auburn-
cares about.
Auburn is the one place where you could like they do step up to Bama. It's like Kiffin's just stepping right up to him and say, "No, I'm your biggest rival now. Like your biggest rival. I'm Auburn.
And I'm going to beat you and make you
I
retire.
am going to send you to the nursing home." Saban. I
That would
think
be
you're
so
right.
crazy.
I wouldn't hate it. I mean, Lane flirted, and that's what he does. You know, he flirts with a lot of programs. He flirted with Arkansas back before when he got hired by Ole Miss. You know, it was definitely rumored that he would be our coach. I was all on the Lane train. Kind of thankful it didn't. I don't think things would have worked out. I don't know. It's hard to say. Situations are very different. Even if programs, I know I'm kind of biased. I'm not really biased. Arkansas is a better program than Ole Miss in totality. You know, and so even though he picked Ole Miss, it made more sense. They were more ready to win right away. You know, they were more set up to have a little success. He has been very impressive at Ole Miss. For real. I mean, like I of course they did just get dubbed by like infinity points at Arkansas. I know we only won by like 15, but still felt like a million. He just
What was the final score?
42-27. They scored 21 unanswered in the fourth quarter.
After it was 42-6.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Lane, great coach. I would love to see him at Auburn because him and Saban going head to head would be sick. I would just love that. I'd like to even see him go to Bama. I still think it'd be crazy if he coached Auburn for 3 or 4 years and then went to Bama. There's only one man that could do that, and it is Lane Kiffin. Like there literally is only like he is the only one. But I think this move would actually no way Saban's handing the program over to Lane if he goes to Auburn.
That's fair.
But in some ways, somehow it's like it's like somehow Saban would honestly even respect him more. It's like, no, you went to the one. Like if Kiffin beats him at Auburn,
and then he hands him the keys.
and then he hands him the keys, he's like,
That
all
would
right,
be
you've done it.
insane.
That's true. Like movie Star Wars stuff. It's like Lane rose to power at his biggest rival, and then once he knew he was strong enough to take him over, he handed the keys to Lane and said, "Just go drive, buddy."
Yeah.
I don't
Lane
know.
Kiffin would destroy Alabama. Actually, he would. He would mess it up.
I would hope so. That would be awesome if Alabama wasn't
No,
good.
That would be. It would be so awesome if Alabama was not good.
That's
That
the
will
other thing.
happen. A day
Lane
will-
going and playing Tennessee every year too.
That would be
Needs to
those
happen.
games would get crazy.
Hey, did y'all see Sankey came out with likely that the conference is going to 0 divisions or pods or nothing like that. It's just going to be a
Mm-mm.
conference. Yeah. So Sankey announced that most likely moving on that they're going to move forward with a 0 division on just one single conference format. So I believe it's you have 3 constants. You do have 3 constants, but it's not like a pod system. It's just like you have 3 constants.
Dang.
And then you rotate 6. So you go to 9 games, you rotate 6 opponents, and you have 3 constants. That is how I interpreted it. And I think it does kind of make pretty good sense. I think it'd be pretty fun. Because to be honest, I mean, there's 3 teams that definitely stand out at least like every year. It's like playing these teams is a little more extra juice. So you get to keep those kind of fun rivalries and not just like one single rivalry or something. You get to keep several really of your top games. And then you play every team in the conference every other year. So like you play them quite often, even if it's not
Yeah.
every single year. It's like, well, we play them, we'll get you in 2 years. So I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it'd be pretty cool. I think it'd be fun and a nice way to shake it up. I just look forward to how they could screw Arkansas with the scheduling, and really the Vols too. Like the Vols could legitimately keep like Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and then
That would be insane. We have
Play
to keep
LSU every
Vandy.
other year. Like,
who would Tennessee keep as their 3?
That's what I was just thinking of in my head. I would love
the
to see
big
it.
3
Alabama,
is Bama, Georgia, Florida. Like,
But I doubt they keep. No way they keep those 3.
yeah.
I feel like if anything, Georgia would be the one they wouldn't play every year.
Yeah.
Like, I just
that's what
think
I would
Florida
do.
and Bama, you do have to play every year, and then you probably play Vandy every year.
That's
Florida,
exactly what I would
that makes
do.
sense. I don't know who gets. I mean, so like Kentucky could go Missouri, Vandy, South Carolina, but that's so easy. But like, screw it, give Kentucky an easy schedule. Like,
Nobody
who
cares about
cares?
Kentucky anyway.
I
Yeah.
think you
they're
give like Tennessee would have Vandy, Bama would have like Missouri. Like each one of these kind of
Would have, like, a cupcake.
upper level programs would have a lower level program. And I'm not even saying like that Tennessee, Bama,
but
and
who
Georgia
are
gonna
the-
be good forever. Like I'm just saying.
But I would say even like Kentucky's a lower level program.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Missouri, South Carolina. I mean, Arkansas. Arkansas is a mid level. There are 3 levels in the SEC.
Yeah,
There are the top dogs.
There's like Vandy, Missouri, Kentucky. If we're talking grand
and
scheme.
honestly, like historically, like Mississippi State kind of
yeah.
would almost
Yeah.
fall into that, or they'd be right on the tier of that. They've been better recently, but and yeah, then you have probably like Ole Miss, and then like Arkansas, A&M,
And
and I mean Tennessee would probably honestly be more in that kind of category of recent. They'd be at the upper end of that
Mm,
category.
I'm putting Tennessee in the elitist.
All right,
elite
of the top,
category.
what you're gonna put them in? Like,
I mean, if we're
But, I
talking
mean,
all
it's-
time,
yeah, if we're talking, that's true. That's true. If we're talking all time, I would kind of be talking like the last like 25 years, like the
Oh, well,
only
then
time that's actually
Tennessee,
relevant to
yeah,
recruit.
Tennessee
I
would
think if-
be in the middle tier for sure.
well, but upper middle tier, you at least have a
That's
natty in the last 25 years.
upper middle tier.
Yeah,
No, Auburn's right there with like I put Auburn kind of at the edge of that because I put LSU, Bama.
Auburn, Tennessee might be kind of that level too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Auburn's been to more national championships than Tennessee in 25 years, though.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, you kind of look at like Auburn's
I'm
really
saying
down
the
right now.
totality of a
Tennessee was
program,
down
yeah.
for a long time, but they've had some good teams as
I
well.
really honestly don't. It's hard to even put maybe tiers isn't maybe then the best way to do it. I don't know. Because I mean, you did probably put Florida and Georgia, like, but Georgia hasn't
Georgia's-
really. I mean,
yeah, they-
that's so recency bias. Like, but they were solid. Like, they were solid for
Mark Richt had him pretty solid.
they've been.
They're always good.
Floor.
But
They're good.
I don't know because I probably put Bama and LSU 1 and 2. Then do you put
Florida 3, probably.
Ugh, that's kind of gross.
Yeah, I know.
I think that's right though.
Yeah, probably. And then probably Georgia, Auburn.
Maybe
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
I
Something like
could go with that. Then probably like I don't know.
Arkansas, Ole Miss.
Yeah, I could put Arkansas, A&M, Ole Miss right there. Ole Miss would definitely not be. Arkansas has won the West several times, and like I said, Ole Miss 0, and we have a better head anyway. I don't have to justify that.
Yeah. Is there any other coaching carousel news we need to cover? We can probably hop over to a little Titans talk.
Yeah, there's
The coaching carousel
could potentially
goes
be
on.
a coaching
I
carousel.
was gonna say
in,
the coaching
in the
carousel
NFL.
goes
We'll
on.
see.
Yeah.
That
Win.
would be the craziest way to get him fired. Like I wanted him fired for so long, and him going down because of for those who don't know, we are speaking of Todd Downing, and we are going to cover a little bit of a little bit of a sensitive subject because it's a little bit tricky. We all make mistakes. There are bad things that happen, and we definitely mess up. But
And you have to pay attention to the details of the situation as well.
You do. But at the same time, there are consequences in life for making decisions, especially when they could have been avoided. Especially when they could have been. Gotta face the music. So the Titans offensive coordinator Todd Downing did receive a DUI after the night of a Thursday night football game in Green Bay. That's almost like hard to do. Like you somehow got a DUI 800 miles from where you played a football game that night. Like that's messed up, man. That's crazy. Called the game of his life. I had turned my tune. I literally it connects even with me more because I literally tweeted, I've had a change of heart. Like I've been spoken to, and now I ride with Todd Downing. Like
Treylon doing really well surely helped with that too.
Treylon,
let's
actually throwing bombs to Treylon helped it out a lot.
Well, let's talk about that real quick. Like just to talk about the game real quick. The Titans team we saw on Thursday night was what we talked about before the season started. If all of this goes to plan, this is what it looks like. You have Treylon being the clear-cut number one, over 100 yards receiving. You have Robert Woods in there, 6 catches, 70 yards or 7, whatever it was.
Solid, yeah.
That's what you asked for from him. You have
Hooper
coming in with
got
2
a touchdown
touchdowns.
Dude, Hooper has been on fire the past 3 weeks. He's made some
hard catches,
huge catches.
And then you have Derek. Yeah, he ran for 87 yards, but then guess what? He caught a couple balls, so he ended up over 100 all-purpose yards.
He might have had one close to 150. That screen was like 45 yards.
Yeah. And
he threw a touchdown
Tannehill
pass.
throwing for 300 plus. Like that's your recipe for success.
Everything
great defense.
Perfect. Yeah. Everything.
Everything went perfect. Even like Tannehill threw 1 interception. That was like pretty bad momentum. That's what we're saying. Like we don't interception we can overcome. We actually 1 interception. If you guarantee me Tannehill throws 1 interception, I'll probably take it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, as long so even that went according to plan. It's like, yeah, we know Tannehill's due for something stupid, but like we think we're good enough that we can overcome it. The defense is raw. The defense is so good.
Defense is top 3 in the league, I'd say.
It is awesome.
When healthy, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Dude, and the secondary seems like they're finally coming into their own. McCreary was a great pick. Yeah.
Fulton is a beast. They missed on Farley for sure.
Yeah, he's done.
Definitely is not the guy. Yeah, he's done. But, you hit on several other guys. Like, they've hit on a lot of guys. Even, I know he's not really healthy right now, but Hooker, Elijah Molden, McCreary, Fulton, Byard.
Dude, my
like,
boy
all
Josh
these guys.
Kalu.
Yeah, he's been playing well.
He's been putting it in the mix.
And even the D-line guys, Kevin Strong, Mario Edwards, like, some kind of real no-namers are making big plays for this
that's
team.
what I'm saying. Some of these guys that, and I said Kalu, but I really mean it because guys like him and Dylan Cole, who you kind of go up and down from the practice squad. Dylan Cole's good.
Yeah, especially on special teams. He's a monster.
I gave him a hard time in week 1 because he got shook by Saquon pretty bad, or there was one play where he did not make it. He did not make a play. He didn't even make a bat. Like, he just didn't make a play when I thought he should have. And I really kind of almost wrote him off, but he has proved me wrong, which is a good lesson for me once again. So they do. And they play winning football. It's awesome to watch. Like, oh, it's so fun. Like, watching Derrick Henry line up as a Titan is just an honor. it's a true honor as a fan to watch number 22 on my football team. God, so good.
It is
So
pretty
good.
awesome.
We were talking before the show. We talked a little World Cup, and Trucial was mentioning how, if Americans cared as much about soccer as the rest of the world, and we had guys like Derrick Henry or LeBron playing soccer, and we had a little bit of not an argument, but we were just like,
Discussion.
I don't know if Derrick Henry was really made for soccer. Like, he was made for football, but we did throw out if Derrick Henry, if we sent him down to Australia, let him play a little rugby, good Lord.
Yeah.
He would be
I
putting dudes in the dirt.
He
With
would be
no pad?
toasting everyone. Like, you get him out. Yeah, he is absolutely get him in space, because that's what all like rugby would be for him. The only time that he can get stopped is when they just have 8 guys at the line of scrimmage where
Yeah.
he can't even get started. Yeah, you get him in open space. You know who I was thinking would be good at soccer? I think Ja Morant. I think he'd be a
Mhm.
stud at soccer.
Dude,
Like,
he has that build for a soccer player too.
Think about him like going on headers, like going in there and
Just
trying
jumping
to hit, like,
40
just
inches in the air. And
Yeah, just kick it up in the air. He'll get there before anyone else does. He'll get
Yeah.
up, he'll high point it.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the Todd Downing situation, though, because here's what I heard, or here's what I'm somewhat assuming. I think the guy blew a .1. Now, here's the problem, Seth. You mentioned it to me. He was going like 100 on the interstate. Can't do that. Can't do it.
very dumb.
So I'm not really. I'm definitely not defending him. Yeah, it's not a smart situation. We've talked about it. The Titans have Lyfts and Uber services at their
free.
yeah, for free. They get that. So that should have been what happened. But I will say this, what probably happened, plane ride home, he had a few beers. I think the average person, once you consume 2 beers, you're at like 0.08. You're at the
Yeah.
legal limit.
So if he had 3 beers,
And you're up in the air, so your BAC is higher.
Oh, good point.
yeah,
You know,
make it
seriously.
at
maybe we-
altitude.
wow. What
3
if we
beer,
had
2 or 3
what if-
beers turns into 4 or 5.
What if you got off because you did like a conversion rate where it's like, yeah, I blew a 0.1, but I was in the plane, so it's really only 3/4 of, so I was really only blowing a 0.075. So, you got to, I couldn't account for the airplane. I
Yeah.
have 3 beers every day and I blow a 0.08 and I'm good to go. But 3
And-
beers on that plane, and oh boy.
And that's why I kind of hate it for him. I'm not condoning driving under the influence, obviously, but the guy probably had a few beers, and in all honesty, was probably fine to drive home. Like, going 100 on the interstate when you've had a few beers is dumb. So I'm not really in the mood to defend him, because, okay, dude, drive the speed limit, get home, But I don't think it was a situation where Todd Downing was hammered and was like swerving around the road and was truly a danger to anyone else on the road.
Yeah, I think that is fair to say. There are levels to things where it's like, if he truly blew a 0.1, and it's hey, I'll be the first to say it's above the limit. He's got to deal with the consequences. Like, he put himself in that situation, which was unnecessary, and it is detrimental to the team. So it's a big negative. Like, it cannot be, like, it can't even be made light of, like, really, because it's both dangerous, and obviously he got, like, he was doing something to get pulled over. Like, they don't obviously just know you're, like, he was, I believe it to be speeding. That's what and that is just an unnecessary black eye to the organization that, has allowed you to be part of, and that is having a lot of success, and you're going to be a distraction and a detriment to the team. So just a really bad look for a coach. I mean, he's a coach. Like, he is theoretically a model for the players. Like, he needs to,
Supposed to be a leader. Yeah.
yeah. Your 25-year-old player who makes $1 million gets a DUI, and it's like, that's a really stupid mistake. But your 45-year-old like offensive coordinator who's been around, like, who should not, like, you cannot be doing this. It's just terrible look. It sets a terrible example, and now it puts Vrabel in a tough spot.
Yeah, because what
it's like,
happens?
what does he do? Like,
That's what
he's
I don't know what
he's
happens.
not in jail. He's gonna have probably fines and some stuff to pay, but like, he's not legally, like, he's a like, do you fire someone because of the optics, like, or do you fire, like,
That's what I don't think he
would you
gets
get fired
or
from a
anything.
normal job? Like, no, right? Does he coach?
Depends.
Does he get a suspension? Like, I don't know. I truly don't know. It seems very unprecedented, but I'm sure it's happened before. DUIs do unfortunately occur, you know, pretty often.
He's not the first coach to get a DUI. That's for
No,
sure.
certainly not. And it got a little publicized, but honestly, probably not like on a hugely national note. It was pretty big for us because we're in Nashville, but I
And
mean,
maybe a
it
little
was
bit
a
of
big deal in the NFL. Within
maybe
the
a
NFL,
little bit because
Yeah.
of Barstool, just because of like Compton and Lawan being with Barstool. Like,
Yeah,
so
Barstool. And I mean, it was on ESPN's like front page too.
yeah, that is true. Yeah, pretty bad look. Just sad, unfortunate, and it does suck for him because that is it's a huge negative on him. That's just so public, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this has just got to be terrible for him. So I'm sure he feels the worst about it, than anybody. So, and I have no idea if he has prior past of it. I have no idea, but like Musselman, I know has had at least one DUI. I mean, it happens to people quite often. So
learn from it and hopefully he doesn't do anything like that again.
And like to potentially get the Titans in trouble for beer on a plane would be so
That's
lame.
so stupid though. There was literally a video of Taylor Heineke the week before drinking beer on a plane and
out of the
nothing was
trash can,
done.
drinking Boosh lattes out of the trash can.
Yeah, and that's been pointed out all week long about this is that there's multiple videos and like all kinds of instances where people
Who
have
cares?
beer. Yeah, they're grown men.
People drink. Yeah, if they flew home on a commercial flight, they could have a beer. Like what?
Are people talking about that?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, because it's only like team sanctioned vehicles like a bus or a plane. If they flew commercial,
Oh.
they could have drinks and it'd be fine.
Oh,
But
so
since it's-
like technically they're not supposed to have alcohol on the plane?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, did not know that.
Yeah. So that's why there's a full-on investigation by the NFL going into this. So the Titans could see
is a little
penalties
much.
because of it. Now, I don't think any of the penalties are going to be major like draft pick compensation, but there's probably going to be some fines,
Yeah.
which sorry, Amy, but you're going to have to shell that out.
Now that's out of TD's paycheck.
Probably should be.
I wonder what kind of fines it will be in terms of the league. Like,
Yeah.
not league. Like legally, it won't be anything crazy. But that'll be interesting to see. I don't know. Like, is he going to coach this week? We actually don't know.
I don't
as
know.
of
There
right now.
hasn't been an announcement, right?
That's what's crazy. It happened on Thursday night, so it's already been like if it was a normal game, it would have just happened last night. But it happened. We're already 3 or 4 days into this process, and we still don't know what's going to happen. I think they said like Wednesday, all the coordinators meet with the media, so that's when we'll know if
he's in for a treat. If he
Oh God.
is there any way they just let him like skip the media session?
No, that's the one thing I think he has to do.
It's probably required by the league. You probably
You
have
That's
gotta
gonna
face. You gotta face the
suck.
music. You gotta
That
face
is
the
gonna
music.
suck because somebody like Paul Kaharski is gonna bring it up.
Oh,
I mean, they're all
that's
gonna
his
bring it up,
opening.
dude.
It's got to be his opening.
Yeah,
Statement.
he
Like,
has to open it and just like clear the air because
and there's going to be about 10 questions about it and only
Yeah.
that, which I mean, and
In
that's what I'm
fairness,
saying. That's a
deservedly.
consequence. Like that is. Like,
Yeah.
that- you run the risk of having to face the music. I
Yep.
want to get up there and ask him some questions. Like he
what
should
the
have to
hell were
answer
you
to every.
doing, Todd?
What? Finally, you're so smart to throw the ball to Traylon, and this is how you act afterwards. Like I knew you couldn't be this smart. Like, I knew you weren't this smart.
Like he had to screw something up on the night because he
Yeah,
did so
I
much
knew
right.
you. I knew something was up on Thursday night.
Todd, were you buzzing during the game?
Yeah,
Is that why it
what
was
if this
working
like
so well?
investigation just leads to something crazy and turns out he's been like drinking every day, has been like I pray to God it doesn't, but that would be crazy.
Is
if
he
it just
up? Yeah,
turns
he's
out.
up in the press box, right? Or is he down on the field?
What if it was?
I
Yeah,
think he's press box.
Vrabel was like, he's down because he knows he's about to get fired because he's just been terrible, and so yeah, he's fallen to the booze a little bit. He got hammered. That was his first time ever like drunk calling a football game, and he was just amazing, like just firing on all.
Like, yeah, we just
cylinders.
let him loose. And
He was like, deep ball to Traylon, baby. Let's do it.
Finally, dude, it made me it just frustrated me. And I think they were right. I mean, you got to earn those opportunities in the NFL, but it just frustrated me a little bit. Like they just would not let Traylon just go for it. Like just throw him a ball past the line of scrimmage. Like go let him make, and he did. They threw him 2 deep ball, well, maybe even 3, I think, but they threw him a couple deep balls that were actually good and made 2
Dude,
huge
the
plays.
one that ended the game was awesome.
That was
Like,
sick.
that was such an amazing call.
That was
I mean,
so
everybody
sick.
was keyed
Dude,
in on Derek.
on their number 1 cornerback too. Like this wasn't some like that's Traylon owning Jair Alexander. Like that's legit. That is
Yep.
sick.
That was an awesome play.
But look at the Titans, bro. What are we? 7-3?
7-3, completely fine. Like
6-1 in our last 7. Only lost in overtime. Like
God, if Rand like, dude, we should only have one loss right now. The Bills.
You could be, yeah, you could argue you could really be 9-1.
yeah, but it's all right. I mean, 7-3 is pretty good. We could have easily lost to the Commanders or something like that too.
Yeah, if David Long didn't make that insane
But we didn't.
pick
That was
on the goal
awesome.
line.
I think
Yeah.
the season always just works out as it does. Like
Shit's
Yeah,
gonna
if you-
happen.
if you win that first game, maybe you don't. We had to dig into the dog mentality pretty early in the year. Like we had to be like, oh
Yeah.
shoot, we are 0-2. Like we're staring it right in the face. We better pick it up or let's we're gonna pack it in. So, being in the South, 2 games against the Colts was the medicine we needed, just to be like, oh yeah, this we got this.
How about Matt Ryan going back out there for the Colts?
Colts
Yeah.
are showing
Saturday
some
has the
fight
guys
under
fired up.
Saturday. He does. We'll see if that's enough. Sometimes that's enough for 1 or 2 games, but it don't really last for a long time if you're not really technically sound.
Right.
If
And
you're
but
not
that's all they needed Jeff
Yeah,
Saturday to
that is
do.
true. That is true.
Like,
Yeah, what are they bringing him in for? Not some offensive genius. I mean, he's only coached at the high school level. I think he is there to fire the guys up and let the coordinators do the rest.
I mean, he fired me up. His opening presser was awesome.
Yeah, I like.
We talked about it last week or the week before, but I mean, geez, that guy knows how to lead men. That's what he said. And
He
he's
does.
right.
That's
I mean,
good.
he
That's
was
what you
he was
want.
right there with Peyton leading those Colts. I mean, that's what the center kind of does with the offensive line. Just like kind of nasty Ben Jones up there, who's been. I wanted to give him a shout out. I love Ben Jones.
He's
amazing.
awesome. He's
He was
a
out. Yeah, he has been a
So-
beast.
Hopefully, he gets good and healthy here soon. But yeah, Jeff Saturday, man, he knows a thing or two about leading men into battle.
The Titans haven't even played the Jags yet.
Yeah, there's 2 more free wins.
Easy.
Free.
I don't know. Yeah, whoa. At Jacksonville is,
Are you kidding me? It's Jacksonville. Who
Hey,
cares?
all
this
right.
is the NFL. This is the NFL. You could lose to anybody on any given Sunday.
We were the 1 seed and lost to the Texans last year. Let's not forget it.
And almost lost to them twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, boys.
Derek.
Anything else before we close it out?
No, Hogs
No,
are winning
just,
Maui. Hogs are winning Maui this week.
Yeah. Get the boys fired up for some college basketball.
It
I'm
is
excited.
feast week, yo. It is feast week. College
is feast
basketball.
week.
This is the first week of the real season where it's like, all right, there's actually fun college basketball on TV. Let's get after it.
And
Sprinkle in
football
some
on-
World
so much
Cup.
football on Thursday.
Dude, there's so much sports out the wazoo right now. You got the World Cup firing, feast week in basketball, college football winding up. NFL is in the meat of its season. We are in. This is it right here, boys. Just lock it in and enjoy this. Hogs play Creighton tomorrow. Blue Jays going down. Top 10 matchup in Maui. It's lit.
It's gonna be
Today,
nice.
Arkansas went on a 12-0 run of just dunks. Six. The only points scored were just 6 dunks. And then they had 2 more after a made layup. So they went on like a 25-0 run and 18 points were dunks. It was awesome.
That's pretty insane.
It was insane. Louisville does stink. They're now 0-4. They've lost 3 1-point games and now they got obliterated. Arkansas beat them by like 30. It was awesome. Fun to win in Maui. Fun to win, honestly. Let's just keep winning.
Favorite Thanksgiving dish before we close it out.
For me,
I'm gonna go
Yeah,
with sweet potato casserole.
Ooh,
Out of left
marshmallows.
field.
You like the
I like
marshmallows?
that, but I
I
don't know
love
if
the
it's my number
marshmallows,
one.
man.
Sweet potato casserole is a dynamite
Very good.
Thanksgiving dish. It's the perfect color. It's the perfect flavor and texture that goes with all my other food. That's actually what I'm bringing to my girl or Christina's family Thanksgiving. So I'm making the sweet potato casserole. I might throw a few other flavors in there. I think the dressing to me is really
People love the
fire
dressing. Yeah.
because the dressing is it just does not come around very much, and I love it. And I love it with it's on its own. It is what it is. I mean, it depends on who makes it. Like different cook, like my mom's dressing, fire. Like I've had other great dressings, but I've also had some not so great dressings.
Mm-hmm.
But you throw the gravy and the mashed potatoes, kind of that little mixture.
Yep.
Like that's what's
Oh,
good.
Thanksgiving, you let the foods touch, baby.
You let the food.
yeah,
That
you
is
gotta
the
mix
best
them
part.
all.
You
I'm
just
gonna-
have that plate full of I want 6 different casseroles, the main dish, rolls. I want a little salad. Oh yeah. Anyway, Trush, what you got?
I'm gonna give some love to a dish that doesn't get a lot of love. It could even be considered a side, but it's such a staple. The crescent roll or Sister Schubert's roll on a Thanksgiving
Ooh.
plate is the glue of the dish. Like we're talking about letting foods touch each other.
I was gonna say, you talk about letting the foods touch.
I mean, the
baby. Get a
roll
little-
is the
yeah.
delivery for just about every food. You can dip it in mashed potatoes. You can dip it in gravy. You can cut it open and throw some turkey in there, make a little sandwich. It's the most versatile piece on a Thanksgiving plate. The
I
roll.
think you can go for like a homemade yeast roll though. Like this is Thanksgiving. Let's up it a little bit.
Yeah, I
from
mean,
the
any-
sisters. Like let's go for
mean,
the homemade.
My grandma does crescent rolls that are very good, but hey, I know a lot of families out there love their Sister Schubert's. So
That's true. That's an OG. The Sister Schubert roll is OG. You like the pan, or do you like the dinner rolls? Like
I like the
The-
dinner rolls. I don't like
Yeah,
the
those are-
little chicken mini like roll Sister Schubert's things. I like
those
the
are good too.
full-on-
I like.
I
those
mean, they're
pretty
good, but I love a nice size dinner roll with a good size pat of butter on there. Come on, that's good eating.
Come on, bring it home.
Come on.
That does tie it all together.
It really does. Yeah, the roll is not talked about enough when it comes to Thanksgiving. Very, very important piece of the team.
Yeah, don't neglect the roll.
Yeah. Well, guys, thanks for listening. This has been Patriot Sports, part of the Six Pack Coverage Network. Be sure to check them out at Six Pack Coverage on Instagram and Twitter, sixpackcoverage.com. Be sure to check us out, patriotsports.blog, at Patriot_sports on Twitter, and at Patriot Sports on Instagram. Guys, thanks again for listening. Have
It's
a
been a
great
good one.
Thanksgiving, and
Been
we will see
a
y'all
good one.
next week.
Pay dirt out.